recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
This is Z Games, and I am Paul, back from a long hiatus. If you've been following the lore, I haven't been in here for 8 months.
Actually, it's a ghost. You're a ghost.
I've been a ghost. Well, yeah. I was a ghost, and now I'm back as a zombie, I guess.
I suppose so, yeah.
Hit that Lazarus pit, got resurrected.
Yeah. Joining me is, of course, Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Certainly am.
And Rani Raymond Slurper.
Yeah, okay, that'll work.
Why not?
I haven't heard that one before. We'll go with that.
Yeah, that's a new one.
And we'll never hear it again.
Cool.
Because it wasn't really that useful.
It didn't rhyme.
I like non-rhymes. I like things that are like almost good but quite pathetic. It's sort of where I like to aim.
It was that. It was definitely that.
It's my style of humour. Humour in inverted commas. This is, of course, a show about video games, and we'll be talking about some news in a minute. But we're also going to have a review coming up from our Rani on Pinball Wizard.
This is a lie. Why would you tell them that? No, yeah.
Look, this is we just gotta
Paul's
keep
here
it loose
with all the lies.
I love a lie. So next up, we're not going to listen to the news. That's I can do better than that. Yeah, we'll get back to it and see how we go.
Yep.
Battle Royale, Death First Let It Die temporarily shuts down. Death First Let It Die is a Battle Royale game set in a post-apocalyptic world where players take part in a Battle Royale reality show, Death Jamboree, to entertain the ruling class. It's a fun premise, but the game has struggled to attract a solid player base since it launched late last year. On the 6th of January, the developers published a notice to their community saying that they will be suspending the game to allow them to completely overhaul it and fix the issues they have been struggling with. Service for the game will end later this year on July 18th, with sales of the in-game currency ending on February 7th. There is no word yet on when the game will return, but it seems they are passionate about building the game into their vision. Considering how much time goes into developing a game, and that there's a finite number of games one can possibly make in a lifetime, it's impossible to say at this stage whether this is the right choice. But we love this game and are proud to have developed it together as a team. Therefore, we believe this is the best possible decision at this time, the letter said. The voice of Monkey Island's Captain LeChuck, Earl Bowen, has died. Earl Bowen, who voiced the main antagonist of the Monkey Island series, Captain LeChuck, passed away at the age of 81 after being diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer late last year. Bowen was asked to reprise his role in the most recent installment of Monkey Island, but declined because he's retired and he's getting older. Aside from this role, his voice was part of many other games, including World of Warcraft, Metal Gear Solid 2, Eternal Darkness, Baldur's Gate, and Psychonauts. He also worked outside of video games, notably in the role of criminal psychologist Dr. Peter Silverman from the Terminator series. After the announcement of his passing, many fans shared their condolences online and spoke about their appreciation of his work. Dungeons & Dragons' new license has fans and creators worried. Wizards of the Coast, the company that owns D&D, announced last year that they would be updating the game's license as they make the shift to 1D&D. Recently, the new document, which will come into effect very soon, was leaked online and many people are unhappy with it. There have been tweaks and shifts previously, but nothing this big since the Open Gaming license was first published in 2000. It's impossible to go into all the details of the over 9,000 word document, but there is now a requirement to register your work with Wizards of the Coast before publishing, and to feature a badge on your product to show that it is in line with the new OGL. All creators will be classified based on their revenue, and those in the highest tier will be required to pay royalties. That's anyone making over $750,000 per year across all licensed work. The majority of creators are not in this bracket and will not be required to pay Wizards any royalties, but there are plenty of other things in the document making them nervous. Wizards of the Coast gains the ability to terminate their license agreement with anyone at any time for any reason. If they did this, the creator would no longer be able to sell products associated with Dungeons & Dragons, and would be required to destroy all inventory and marketing materials bearing the compatibility logo. To topple that off, Wizards of the Coast will have the right to use any content created under the new OGL, whether it is commercial or not. The document states that they will have a non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, and royalty-free license to use that content for any purpose. The third-party creators that surround Dungeons & Dragons have always been central to the game's popularity, and some fans are worried that this could collapse the community. Some others are optimistic that the new changes are just legal speak, and Wizards of the Coast will not significantly change the way it engages with its third-party creators. Whatever the case is, we won't know until the new license is put into effect, and in the meantime, there's a lot of uncertainty. Upcoming game releases. On the 13th of January, One Piece Odyssey releases for the PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox XS. On the 16th of January, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot releases for PS5 and Xbox Series XS. On the 17th of January, Gigantosaurus Dino Kart releases for PS5, Xbox XS, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And on the 19th of January, Colossal Cave releases to the PS5, Xbox Series XS, Switch, Quest, and PC. Persona 4 Golden releases for the Switch, PC, PS4, Xbox XS, and Xbox One. And A Space for the Unbound releases for the PS5, PS4, Xbox XS, Xbox One, and PC. Whew, it's a mouthful. And that's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you for that, Mailey. Yes, very sad news for the death of our voice of LeChuck, Earl Bowen. And I realise I never reviewed Return to Monkey Island last year.
No, you didn't, actually, did you?
So here we go. It's really, really, really good.
Okay.
There we go.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Put that on the box.
I never played the originals, but I did really want to do the new one.
I mean, look, if you're an adventure... Do you have a background playing adventure games?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least you're going to get that aspect of it.
Yep.
But it is very much the point, without telling you what the story is that this is a game that's reflective of their actual careers. So it's like Monkey Island being like their sort of version attempts going out to them refining it, and then this one, whilst being the third one they made, and whatever you want to count it in the actual series, it's more like now at their point of their lives and experience and career and everything and what's important. Yeah. So whilst it's totally playable and it's still a really good game, you will get the most out of it if you understand the earlier ones. Right. But yeah, it's still a good game on its own.
Right. So watch a YouTube Let's Play of the original ones, get the basic stories, and
that's the first two, really.
Cool.
I'll do whatever. Hey, the special editions, other than the weird look of Guybrush's hair in the first one, are pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's still got weird moon logic for solving puzzles sometimes?
Look, I don't have any... There's only one puzzle I know anyone was particularly stuck with. There's also a built-in hint system now. So it's like, right. And it does it in the smart... God, I am actually doing a review now. It does it in the style where you say, okay, I'm stuck at this, and it says like, okay, you want a hint. And it will just say, maybe you should check this general area. And you can keep opening up deeper and deeper until it just says, go here and pick up the dog and put it in the suitcase.
Right. So not God of War where it immediately does.
Yeah, you just select.
Pick up the dog.
It's very reminiscent of like what Tex Murphy games did back in the day. But that's a reference that's going over half our audience's heads, if not 90% of them. Tex Murphy, Under a Killing Moon, Pandora Directive.
No. Come on, I'm not like my... I'm a child. We know this.
It's true. I think Under a Killing Moon came on 5 or 7 CDs, and it was like its integration with FMV, and it was photorealistic. By which I mean it was not photorealistic.
I don't think my parents would have like spent the money on that for me. You know, I think they would have been like, "No, you don't need a computer game. Another one." They're all the same.
Speaking of tangents,
they're all Mario.
They are redoing a lot of the Tex Murphy stuff. And they are using AI upscaling on all the old tiny interlaced video, and it's up to 4K. And I wasn't a believer in AI upscaling until I saw some of this. I'm like, it's adding details that didn't exist. How does it do that? I don't know.
Damn.
So I'm keeping an eye on those because I'm a big nerd.
Yeah, I think I'll have to check those out as well. I didn't realize they were doing those ones.
Okay, speaking of things that I missed talking about last year, I went down to PAX Australia.
Nice.
As I like to do, run a few panels and stuff like that. I caught up with we'll call him friend of the show, even though he's never been on it, but we play his music a lot, Monster Mansion. And we we were playing songs of his. Video World was the little game he made. It was like a game EP that he released. He's working on a new game, a Valentine's Halloween or a Halloween Valentine. I should have written that down. And even though the game's still probably maybe later this year, maybe next year, first single for it is out.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games. You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
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 Perfect. Thank you.
This is Zed Games. I am Paul, and joining me here are Rani and Peter.
Woo.
Woo woo. And
I
now,
like extra can't hear right now either.
Also, shall we be louder?
Louder.
No, I feel like the people listening at home might not benefit from that, even though I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, we can control the volume, so it's all right. And you're going to take us on a magical adventure.
Yes.
To the world of the Pinball Wizard.
Up 21 floors of a tower.
Okay, let's hit it.
Okay. So, oh my god.
I like to sing a review song when we can. We get a real good time. Yeah, Ronnie's going to tell us about the pinball game. Hey!
Okay. I missed that. This is why we have Paul in the studio, because I'm not clever enough to make these things happen. Anyway, the Pinball Wizard, which I played on Switch, but you can also play on PC and your phone.
Yeah, it was originally an Apple Arcade game.
It was originally.
No one paid attention to it when it came out on Apple Arcade. That's
I don't
the general
think
way.
I want to play it on my phone.
It played fine, but I just don't like playing on tablets personally.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway. Okay, so you play as a wizard's apprentice, not a wizard. You are not a wizard yet. Your tower has been, I don't know, there's a big bad. He takes the eye that is like the magical source of everything and keeping things good and evil balanced, and now he's taken it, and so the evil is taking over the good.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
The wizard sends his apprentice in, like any wizard would.
Yep.
You know, you just send send the intern.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unpaid interns.
Yep.
Yep.
Up 21 floors of this tower. So you play the game like a pinball machine. If you've ever played a pinball machine, I don't know how many kids have access to pinball machines these days.
They're still around.
They are still around.
But
My neighbor has a pinball machine, and that is what I do whenever I go
I feel
over.
like pinball machines are probably more common in people's houses than they are in most other arcades and places now.
Yes.
Yeah, I know a few collectors, but also at least we've got like a big arcade in Brisbane, which has a lot of pinball machines, which is great.
Yep.
Anyway, so you have to... It's a dungeon crawler, but it's also a pinball game. So you, as the apprentice, are the ball. You are the ball. He runs around, and you whack him with your little flippers. On the Switch, it's your triggers.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it makes
That's
sense,
what you want it to
know,
be,
your
yeah,
same,
Yeah, good comfortable
same two
controls.
fingers,
Yep.
yeah. And he moves kind of like a ball. I don't know. He's running. He just like does this cute little run.
Him
and
not technically being a ball means they could have even wackier physics than normally
he like
can.
turns around to run, and then he bumps into things funny, and he doesn't react the way a ball would. But at some point, he gets an orb that you can chuck out, and that acts as it's a ball.
Okay.
It's like when you're playing pinball and it releases the second ball.
Yeah. Multi-ball.
Yeah. So you can also... So when you start, right, you have nothing. You're level 1 and you're just like this little dude bashing into walls and monsters and things. Because that's how you fight them. You just have to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to make sure that you time it so that they're not angry when you hit them. Because if they're angry when you hit them, then they hurt you.
That's usually how, hitting angry things work.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But if they're not angry when you hit them, you hurt them.
Right.
Good. Cool. So you can you progress through the floors, you unlock keys to unlock the floor, and if you get through the door before the timer runs out, then it refills your health and your energy and stuff.
Okay.
If you don't, and the timer only unlocks once you've gotten the key, so it means that there is you can't just be stuck trying to get through the door of the tower of the dungeon for 5 minutes, because I 100% would be that person. So then it gives you a 30-40 second timer, and then once it runs out, it moves you on. But if you run the timer out, then it won't refill your health, which is fine. I like that. Yeah.
It's a punishment for not being able to walk through a goddamn door.
Yeah, I have that issue sometimes.
Same. Almost every time I will hit my shoulder on the door frame.
Yeah,
but
mine's a little bit more vertical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look,
As a more average height
sideways.
person, the world's built for me. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
So you do that, you move through the levels, and you collect experience and some other such nonsense as you would playing pinball. You will not accrue those points, that experience, those levels, those coins until you die.
Oh.
So,
okay.
You finish a level, you clear it. So I got to like level 8 or something before I died for the first time. So I was still running on like brand new, no upgrades, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I died, and then I saw the XP tick up, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And now that I'm talking about it out loud, it makes sense, because if you're playing pinball, like on a machine, you don't necessarily, you don't have time to just grab extra things. Like, you gotta upgrade those things anyway, like in any other game.
Yeah.
But, anyway, we did that. There's 21 towers. Not 21 towers. There's 21 floors in the tower. 21 levels.
Yep.
And, I only finished it today.
Oh.
So...
Well timed.
That's not because it takes long. It's because I'm bad at pinball. No. It's because I was just struggling on the last floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Which has the big bad that you have to fight, and you have to figure. It doesn't tell you how to fight him. You just kind of have to figure it out yourself.
Yep.
That he has
Bump
a
into
vulnerable
things
spot.
until things happen.
Yeah, he has a vulnerable spot. You got to hit that so many times, and you progressively it's like a caterpillar. You progressively chop off segments of him.
Yeah.
Essentially. There are things you can bump into that throw you off the side of the tower, off the top of the tower.
Oh, okay.
You can obviously fall back through the flippers.
Yep.
As you would in any pinball. And so when you watch him just go straight through the middle, and you just have that, terror of, oh, I can't save that. Neither of the flippers are going to reach him. Yeah.
Yep.
What else? There's a hole. on the very last floor, there's a hole that you can just fall through, and I fell through that so many times.
How many attempts do you think it took you?
Too many.
Too many?
More than 50.
More than 50? Oh, wow.
Maybe not more than 50.
50's a lot.
50's a lot. Probably somewhere in the 20 and 50 mark.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I just kept, falling off the side of the tower, or
admittedly,
through the hole.
pinball generally doesn't let you fall off the side, so it's an additional challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I finished it, and I felt really proud of myself, but there wasn't a whole big celebration at the end of it. It was just kind of
do it again.
It was just kind of you've done it. The balance of good and evil has been restored.
But then you get
good luck.
You get the XP from that run as well, don't you?
You do. And so what you get there, and there are still unlockable extras that I haven't unlocked yet. So they have a daily dungeon, and they have other extra dungeons that are infinite. They have infinite rooms.
Oh yeah.
So when I first loaded the game, because I wanted to play it on a commute, it wouldn't load.
Oh.
Because you need an internet connection. Because there's a daily dungeon. And so that's why I forgot that I needed to review it, because I went to play it to review it, and I didn't have internet. And so I just
Yep, that gets put in the back of the mind.
Exactly. And so that's my honestly only gripe about the game. It was a lot of fun. It's fun to just pick up, play, and put down.
Yeah.
It's not got consequences. It's not really got much of a story. You're a little apprentice. At the end, you're a wizard.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's like your trial, your proof. Yeah. Yeah.
And the one thing that I'm sort of interested in, so the things that you unlock and the things you haven't unlocked, are they things that you think will change the play very much?
They do change your play, but a lot of it is the amount of XP that you get. There's a dash function that you get. I did find it kind of frustrating that he was running, but you can't control him.
Yep.
So I was just kind of my instinct was to control him.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, because he's a ball. But he's not a ball. He's a little apprentice running around with his little hat, and he looked very cute. But, yeah, so you get these things that, extend your health, or, every time you fall off the map, you don't lose as much health as you would. Because as you get higher into the tower, whenever you fall down through the flippers, you lose more health, because you've fallen further.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really cool. It's really simple. I would recommend it. We got sent the code for it. I didn't check how much it costs. You can play it on the PC. You can play it on Switch, and you can get it through Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no idea. It was fun.
That was the review by Rani. Yeah. Anyway.
No, I had fun.
I wish I had like a multi-ball sound effect in there. That would have been fun.
I should have just gone over and like recorded some sounds of an actual pinball machine from my neighbor's place.
Next time.
Pinball
Wizard 2.
Let's get our production levels up here. And now we're going to keep talking about pinball. But we're not going to talk about pinball games. We're going to talk about games that are pinball-like, that take concepts from pinball and do something else with them.
This is the only like pinball game that I've ever played, so I don't know what I'm in for. Paul is looking very like I'm gonna do you a learning. I have a selection of my own personal history and then a couple of things that I've seen recently. Oh my god, is that a pinball machine? I folded it out. Here we go. I should have brought my Switch. Hold on, we're going to Netherworld. You know what I have with my Switch? What? I've got a flip grip. You have a flip grip? A flip grip, which allows you to turn... like flippers? No. You take the screen and you rotate it to be portrait. Oh, so it's like a pinball machine. Yeah, a bunch of pinball games and some like shmups have Tate mode, or some people tell me it's supposed to be pronounced Tate mode. I don't know. All I know is it's the mode that flips the screen. So for pinball games, it's really good. Yeah. Tate or Tate, good. Like Tate? Yes, Tate. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the probably the first pinball-like I ever played was, and Zara will enjoy this, Sonic. Sonic Spinball back on the Genesis, where you would you'd run on a level with normal Sonic controls, and then you would jump onto a board, in which case he would just be in his ball mode, and you use flippers, but if you landed on a platform, he'd get back on his feet. And
Sonic had those pinball sort of levels as well. Yes, it
already was very inspired by it. This took it to another level. Yeah. Which then returning, and this is my history with Sonic, which makes Zara very angry. I have discovered in my old age, as I return to Sonic, that almost all Sonic games are bad. But the ideas can be good. So probably my best Sonic-like, Sonic Spinball-like, is Yoku's Island Express, which you are a little... I can't remember if you're an ant or a beetle, but you're just pushing a ball around. It's just tropical island themed. It came out a few years ago, probably about 5 years ago. Yeah. It is beautiful and plays so smoothly and just really has that... just jumping into a board and like that's how you navigate through the world. It's a Metroidvania. It's like, we'll unlock this thing. It's a big map. You go through, you explore. It's got cute, and that sort of stuff is just like it just works. And taking those pinball, because really pinball I just take down to basically flippers and like things that bounce you around. If you don't have the flippers, it's pachinko. Yes, that's where we get our peggles and such. Yeah, which also rule. But aren't pinball.
They're not pinball.
So yes, we had Pinball Wizard earlier, which actually sort of takes off Mario Pinball, which is on the GBA. Yeah. Which was more of a like, it was even more of a explore the world sort of thing. You would shoot off into other boards, go and do a puzzle, and then let yourself fall back, and you'd explore the whole world with it. It was like really unique in that sense. And there's a few other surprising ones with a similar sort of strategy. Not quite as ambitious, but cool. There was it Pinball of the Dead, which was House of the Dead spin-off, but pinball.
I remember seeing that one. Yep.
Yeah. And there's great
actually, I feel like there were a lot of like pinball.
Oh, well, the whole thing about pinball is just branding things as. Yeah. Like, one of my favorite pinball games is Metroid Pinball on the DS. Yeah. It's just a pinball game, but takes advantage of like 3D stuff, digital stuff. Like, you'll suddenly be shooting rockets at things and everything. Like,
you take advantage of it sort of thing and take the platform to better heights with it.
So then we move a bit more into our RPGs, because there's a whole world of RPGs. There is a game called Pinball RPG, which looks it looks pretty good. I don't know a whole lot about it. I just remembered another game. I'm going to leave that out. But one of the more popular ones in recent years has been a mobile game called Word Flipper.
Word Flipper.
Yeah.
That just popped up as a suggested thing when I checked up Pinball RPG.
Yeah. You have a whole party, and like they move like a little snake.
Yep.
Oh
So
my
you
goodness.
flick them up, and you get level and XP, and similar to how you were saying with Pinball Wizard, if something's aggro, you don't want to attack it, it'll hurt you back. So it's about control. It's also about sort of gotcha mechanics of collecting other party members, but there's an actual end to the game as well. It was probably 3 years ago. I'm going to hazard a guess.
Yep.
You're looking at it, Rani. Either way, it was very popular. That's fine, whatever. Which is because
it was not telling me.
it doesn't matter. Which kind of this is my favorite pinball game to teach people about. It was a GameCube game.
Yep.
Well, Word Flipper.
No. I'm moving. Yeah.
Well, Word Flipper on the App Store has only got back to a year.
Oh well. Time is an illusion.
Yes.
Pandemic time, doubly so.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So on the GameCube, there was a game called Odama. And this game's relatively obscure. We got a bit of press around. It is a feudal Japan battle game, and the Odama is this giant boulder which you can launch across the battlefield. But it's also a strategy game.
Okay.
So you have troops that are moving around, and you've got to move them up, and you've got to move this bell up through the level. The ball can do things like knock a dam, so it will close a stream or open a stream to allow your people to pass. Now, to control your men, you have to use the microphone.
Okay.
Forward, rally, which worked kind of.
And
so
then you've got to convince your parents that you're not going insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
anytime there's any voice commands or physical interactions with a game like that.
I cannot stand voice commands.
Dude.
I can't use Google or anything.
Wait,
I remember when
you review a game last year where you had to blink or something?
Oh yeah. I don't think I reviewed the Before Your Eyes, but Before Your Eyes is great. Yeah. But I don't have to talk to it.
No.
If it's
no, it used to be weird.
It just needs to watch you.
When kids would bring Nintendogs into my store and things like that, and then they're sitting there blowing at the little microphone to try
Oh yeah.
That was so funny that
whistle at
the
it
most common use of the DS microphone was to detect blowing.
Yep.
Radio loves blowing into a mic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're only halfway through with Odama.
Yep.
So it's feudal Japan. You're controlling your troops. You're shooting this big ball up. Your ball can kill your own troops, and they'll scream out like, "I didn't deserve this!" You're doing puzzles to open up paths and everything. Now, it did have another feature that did get cut before release, but I would be amiss to not mention it. It had a second player.
Okay.
And they would control the game with the Donkey Kong bongos. And they were the war drummer that would inspire your band.
That is some weird two-player stuff. That could be a whole segment.
I wish there was a leak of that prototype. That would be amazing.
Yep.
Anyway, so the point is, there's a lot of cool takes on pinball.
Pinball.
Wait,
you could also go find an actual pinball machine and play some pinball.
Yeah, but then nothing's
then
moving,
you have to
nothing's
leave
shooting.
your house.
Well, here's the thing then. If pinball was to have a renaissance sort of idea and come back into the limelight, what would you like to see new added to pinball that's not there? I'd love to see some Beyblade stuff where you can bring your own custom ball or something like that.
That'd be cool. Custom ball would be interesting.
I keep a little bit up with the pinball scene. There really is constant innovation in it. It's crazy. The amount of digital stuff in there now, projections on the board, changing the board as you play. Remember, it's not even new. There's this Star Trek Next Gen game where it just it just fires the ball so hard at the glass that it scares the living hell out of you. But it's the more I played pinball, the more I understood there's actually more modern ones have missions and goals, and it's not our old parlor ones where it's just about getting a score. It's about actually trying to achieve stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they're very much kind of the old school roguelike to an extent. Try and get as much done as you can on one life sort of thing, and then continue on in your next.
So before we move on, I'm just bringing up a game that I discovered when I typed in just pinball games into Steam. Which is always a fun thing to do. And I thought it was very relevant to our crew because we have a certain obsession with crabs in this game. So may I present Flip Out to the rest of the crew here.
Oh my goodness.
Which is...
it's a crab pinball game.
It's a crab pinball game where the flippers are your crabs. And the twist is the flippers can move, so it's a little bit breakout in there too.
Flip Out on Steam. I wonder if it's on the Switch, because I did really enjoy playing it on the Switch.
It's in early access. It won't be on anything else yet.
Ah, that's a shame.
But yes, I did manage to find a crab pinball game for our
I'm gonna
beloved
look
crew.
it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Get it there.
Flip Out.
I feel like this
I'm
is
gonna
going to
buy
be
it.
this weekend's people's obsession.
Okay, I'm not gonna buy it yet because I don't have
200%
money to
sales
just
increase.
Look, I also can't tell you it's good. It just has a crab.
I mean, it looks pretty
but
good.
that's
It's
all I
3D.
need.
It's under the water. Your crab running left and right and hitting a ball with your claws.
Everything you're describing is true.
Yes.
This is Zed Games. I'm Paul. Rani and Peter are joining me. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have some pinball fun. Good times. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.
I've got balls of steel.